They say you can feel it when someone you love is slipping away, but nothing prepares you for the moment you realize they've been long gone. For me, it was New Year's Eve, the night that changed everything. My name is Mike, and until that night, I thought I had a pretty solid life with my wife, Jennifer. We've been married for 7 years, and while things weren't perfect, I thought we were in it together. The party was at a swanky venue downtown, a mix of colleagues, friends, and strangers mingling in a blur of sequins and suits. Jennifer had been excited about it for weeks, going all out with a new dress, shoes, and even a trip to the salon. I thought she was trying to start the new year with a bang. I didn't realize she'd already planned her fireworks. We arrived together, hand in hand, the picture-perfect couple, or so I thought. But as the night wore on, I noticed her drifting. She wasn't by my side anymore, her laughter echoing across the room as she talked to other guests. I didn't think much of it at first. She's always been sociable, charming even. But something about the way she moved tonight, the stolen glances, the whispers, set me on edge. And then I saw him, tall, dark-haired, and wearing the kind of smug grin that made my blood boil the moment our eyes met. Jennifer was standing too close to him, her hand brushing his arm in a way that wasn't casual. My stomach twisted. Who the hell was this guy? I didn't recognize him, but the way she looked at him made me feel like an outsider at my own party. I tried to shake it off, convincing myself I was imagining things. But the gnawing doubt wouldn't let go. As the countdown to midnight approached, I made my way through the crowd, scanning for Jennifer. When I finally found her, she was on the dance floor, wrapped in his arms. It wasn't some innocent two-step either. They were pressed together, her head resting on his shoulder as he whispered something in her ear. She laughed softly, the sound cutting through me like a knife. I stood frozen, watching them sway to the music, my heart pounding in my chest. The room around me faded. I didn't hear the music, the chatter, or the countdown. All I could focus on was her, my wife, holding another man like I didn't exist. It was like watching someone else's life crumble in slow motion. And then she looked up and saw me. Her eyes widened, a flicker of guilt crossing her face before she quickly masked it with a nervous smile. She untangled herself from him and hurried over, acting like nothing had happened. "Mike, there you are," she said, her voice too bright, too fake. "I've been looking for you." "Really?" I said, my tone colder than I intended. "Because it looks like you've been busy." She faltered, her smile slipping for just a second. "Oh, come on. I was just dancing." "Don't be like that. Just dancing." "Right." I clenched my fists, every nerve in my body screaming at me to call her out right there in the middle of the party. But I didn't. I plastered on a fake smile of my own and said, "Sure, let's watch the fireworks." As we stood under the exploding lights of the new year, I couldn't feel anything but the weight of her betrayal. I didn't know who he was or how far it had gone, but I knew one thing: this wasn't going to end here. The fireworks might have lit up the sky, but my world had already gone dark. I spent the rest of a New Year's Eve party plastering on a fake smile, nodding through conversations I couldn't follow. Jennifer flitted between groups, laughing, drinking, occasionally throwing a glance my way, as if to check if I was still watching. Oh, I was watching. When we got home, she acted like nothing was wrong, slipping out of her dress and in a bed with that same nonchalant air she always had. She kissed me goodnight, her lips brushing my cheek, and rolled over to sleep. I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing with a million questions. Who was he? How long had this been going on? And, most painfully, why? The next morning, Jennifer was all sunshine and cheer, whipping up breakfast like it was any other day. I played along, pretending nothing was amiss, but inside, I was unraveling. I couldn't confront her without proof. I needed to know the truth before I made my move. So I started digging. Jennifer wasn't exactly the paranoid type, which made things easier. While she was in the shower, I grabbed her phone from a nightstand and slipped into the guest bathroom. My hands trembled as I unlocked it. She hadn't even bothered to change the password. At first, everything looked normal. Texts with her mom, group chats with her friends, work emails. But then I found it, a name that wasn't familiar. Ryan. The messages were short, but enough to make my stomach churn. "Ryan, last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again. Jennifer, same here. Soon, I hope. I can't stop thinking about you." I clenched the phone so hard my knuckles turned white. It felt like a punch to the gut, seeing her words in black and white. But that wasn't the worst part. No, the worst part was scrolling back and finding weeks, months of messages, flirting, inside jokes, plans to meet up. It wasn't just a one-time thing. She'd been living this double life right under my nose. I snapped pictures of the messages with my own phone and put hers back before she could notice. My mind was reeling, but I couldn't let her see it. I had to keep my cool, act like everything was fine while I figured out my next move. The next step was surveillance. I installed a tracking app on her phone while she was at work, something to log her locations and messages in real time. I also bought a small voice recorder and tucked it under the passenger seat of her car. If she was meeting Ryan, I wanted to hear it for myself. It didn't take long. The very next day, she told me she had a work meeting after hours. She kissed me goodbye, grabbed her purse, and left without a second glance. I waited 10 minutes before pulling up the tracking app. Sure enough, she wasn't heading to her office. She was driving across town to some upscale hotel. My chest tightened as I watched the little dot on the map stop in the hotel parking lot. I told myself to wait, to be patient, but the rage bubbling inside me made it nearly impossible. I grabbed my car keys and followed. When I arrived, her car was right where the app said it would be. I parked a few spaces away and waited, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. After about 20 minutes, the door to the lobby opened, and there she was, walking out hand in hand with Ryan. I couldn't believe the audacity. She didn't even try to hide it, smiling up at him like a lovesick teenager. They got into his car and drove off, leaving me sitting there in stunned silence. I wanted to storm after them, to confront her right then and there. But I held back. I needed more. I needed everything. When I got home, I checked the voice recorder. Sure enough, there was the sound of their voices, laughing and flirting as they drove together. Her betrayal was right there, captured in perfect clarity. Every word, every laugh, every disgusting promise they made to each other. By the time Jennifer came home, I had a plan. She walked in like nothing was wrong, kissing me on the cheek and asking about my day. I smiled back, masking the seething fury inside me. Just another day, I said. But in my head, I was already preparing my revenge. Betrayal has a way of eating at you, twisting your thoughts until you can barely recognize yourself. But instead of breaking me, Jennifer's infidelity sharpened my focus. Every time I replayed their voices from the recorder or read their texts, it added fuel to the fire. I wasn't going to confront her yet. Oh no, if she wanted to act like everything was fine, I'd let her. For now. But I wasn't going to sit idly by either. I started making moves of my own. First, I reached out to a lawyer. If this was going to end in a divorce, and let's be honest, how could it not? I wanted to be ready. The lawyer advised me to gather as much evidence as possible, proof of her affair, records of her spending, anything that would strengthen my case. With her help, I filed a request for her phone records and a subpoena for her financials. Next, I needed allies. Jennifer had always been close with her best friend, Melissa, and while I'd never been a fan of hers, I knew she loved gossip more than loyalty. Over a few drinks at a local bar, I casually mentioned how Jennifer had been acting distant lately. She's probably just stressed with work, I said, playing the clueless husband. But I can't shake the feeling that there's something more. Melissa hesitated for a moment, then leaned in closer. You didn't hear this from me, she said, lowering her voice, but there's been talk. Someone at the New Year's party said they saw her dancing with a guy, like really dancing. Ryan? I asked, feigning confusion. Her eyes widened. Wait, you know about him? Bingo. I let Melissa spill everything she knew, playing dumb the entire time. By the end of the night, I had confirmation that Jennifer's affair wasn't exactly a secret. It was just a secret for me. Perfect. With every piece of the puzzle falling into place, I decided it was time to turn the tables. Jennifer had been lying to me for months, so I had no problem lying to her now. I told her I had an out-of-town business trip the following weekend. It's last minute, I said, shrugging apologetically, but I'll be back by Sunday. Oh, that's too bad, she replied, barely masking the flicker of relief in her eyes. I'll miss you. Liar. I didn't go anywhere, of course. Instead, I set up camp at a friend's house across town, armed with snacks, beer, and a front row seat to watch her self-destruction. Using the tracking app on her phone, I saw her schedule unfold in real time. Friday night, she went to dinner with Ryan. Saturday afternoon, they met at his place. Saturday night, they checked into a hotel. Each time, I recorded their locations and downloaded the timestamps as evidence. But I wasn't done yet. While Jennifer was out playing house with Ryan, I let myself into our home. I cloned her key weeks ago, so it was easy. Inside, I planted tiny cameras in strategic spots. The living room, the kitchen, and of course our bedroom. I wasn't going to let her deny anything when the time came. And then there was Ryan. I didn't know much about him aside from what I'd gathered from their messages, but I wanted to hit him where it hurt too. A quick search on social media revealed that he had a long-term girlfriend, someone he'd been with for nearly a decade. Her name was Emily, and, judging by her posts, she had no idea what kind of man she was dealing with. So I reached out. I created a fake account and sent her a message. You don't know me, but I think you need to see this. I attached screenshots of Ryan's texts with Jennifer, along with the locations of their little rendezvous. I didn't say anything else. I didn't need to. The evidence spoke for itself. By the time Sunday rolled around, I was ready. Jennifer came home that evening, looking more relaxed than she had in weeks. "How was your trip?" she asked, giving me a quick kiss on the cheek. "Oh, it was fine," I said, smiling as if nothing was wrong. "How about you? Do anything fun?" She shrugged, playing the part of the innocent wife. "Just caught up on some work. Nothing exciting." I bit back the urge to laugh. "Well, that's too bad. You deserve some excitement." If only she knew what was coming next. Sunday night came and went, Jennifer carrying on as if she hadn't spent the weekend with Ryan. It was almost impressive the way she could look me in the eye and pretend everything was fine. But her mask was about to slip. I was done playing nice. The next morning, I called her into the living room. "We need to talk," I said, keeping my tone neutral. Jennifer froze, her coffee mug halfway to her lips. "What's up?" she asked, feigning casualness. "I've been feeling like we've been off lately," I said, choosing my words carefully. "I just want to clear the air." Her shoulders relaxed. She must have thought this was a heart-to-heart. "Oh, Mike, it's just work stress. You know how crazy things get." I nodded, leaning forward as if I believed her. "Work stress, right? So how's Ryan?" Her face went pale so fast, it was almost satisfying. "Ryan? Who's Ryan?" she stammered. I smiled, the kind of smile that doesn't reach your eyes. "Don't do that, Jennifer. Don't insult my intelligence." She set her mug down, her hands shaking slightly. "Mike, I don't know what you're talking about." "Let me help you out," I said, pulling out my phone. I opened a folder labeled Proof and started scrolling through the pictures and videos. Her messages to Ryan, the tracking logs, the footage from our bedroom camera. "You've been lying to me for months, Jen. But the thing about lies is they leave a trail." Her jaw dropped as I flipped through the evidence, each new piece of proof hitting her like a sledgehammer. "Mike, stop," I said sharply, cutting her off. "Don't say you're sorry. Don't tell me it didn't mean anything. I've heard it all before." Tears welled up in her eyes, but they didn't move me. "I can explain," she pleaded. "Explain what?" I snapped, standing up so fast the coffee table shook. "Explain how you spent the weekend screwing Ryan at a hotel while I was supposedly on a business trip. Explain how you've been sneaking around behind my back like I wouldn't notice." Jennifer started crying, but I didn't care. "Mike, please," she sobbed. "I love you. I didn't mean for this to happen." "Love me?" I laughed bitterly. "You don't do this to someone you love." Her sobs grew louder, but I wasn't done. "You thought you were so clever, didn't you? Sneaking around, lying to my face. But guess what? I wasn't just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I've been gathering evidence. You think I'm going to let you play the victim here?" "I made a mistake," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Please, can we work through this?" I shook my head. "You didn't make a mistake, Jennifer. A mistake is spilling coffee or forgetting an anniversary. What you did was a choice, a series of choices to betray me over and over again." For a moment, we just stared at each other, the silence heavy and suffocating. Then I delivered the final blow. "I've already contacted a lawyer," I said coldly. "I've filed for divorce. You'll be hearing from them soon." Jennifer's face crumpled, her tears coming in full force now. "Mike, no. Please don't do this. I'll end it with Ryan. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this. There's nothing to fix, I said, my voice flat. You broke it. And I'm not going to be the guy who spends the rest of his life wondering if you'll do it again. I turned and walked away, her cries following me as I went upstairs to pack a bag. It was over, and I wasn't sticking around to watch her try to piece together the wreckage. But I wasn't done yet. There was still Ryan to deal with. I'd heard back from Emily, his girlfriend, and she was furious. We'd agreed to meet up later that day to share notes. If Jennifer and Ryan thought they could get away with this, they were about to find out just how wrong they were. After walking out of the house that morning, I didn't look back. I left Jennifer sobbing in the living room, her perfect little world starting to crumble. But there was still one more piece of unfinished business, Ryan. I met Emily, Ryan's girlfriend, at a quiet coffee shop on the other side of town. She looked as wrecked as I felt, pale, disheveled, clutching her phone like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. As soon as she saw me, she launched into a tirade. I can't believe him, she spat, her voice trembling. He lied to my face for months. How long have you known? A couple of weeks, I admitted, sliding the screenshots across the table. I've been gathering evidence. Her eyes scanned the photos, her face twisting in anger and disgust. God, I should have seen it. The late nights, the excuses. I feel like such an idiot. Don't, I said firmly. This isn't on us. They made their choices. We spent the next hour piecing together the timeline of their affair, comparing notes, and coming up with a plan. Emily had access to Ryan's work email, and I had video evidence of Jennifer sneaking around. Between the two of us, we had more than enough ammunition to blow their lives apart. By the time we parted ways, Emily was already plotting how to confront Ryan. I told her to keep me updated and headed home to execute the next phase of my plan. When I got back to the house, Jennifer was waiting for me, her face streaked with tears. Mike, please, she begged, rushing to my side as soon as I walked in. I've been calling Ryan. It's over. I told him we can't see each other anymore. I pushed past her, my voice calm but cold. You don't get it, do you? This isn't just about Ryan. It's about what you did to us. To me. She followed me into the kitchen, her voice frantic. I'll do anything, Mike. Therapy, counseling, whatever you want. Just don't throw this away. I turned to face her, my anger simmering just below the surface. You threw it away the moment you decided to cheat. And don't act like you're some martyr for cutting Ryan off. You don't get points for cleaning up the mess you made. Her face crumpled, and for a brief moment, I felt a pang of guilt. But it passed as quickly as it came. I had to stay strong. This wasn't the time for second chances. Here's what's going to happen, I said, my tone icy. I've already filed for divorce. You'll be hearing from my lawyer soon. And don't think for a second that you're walking away from this unscathed. I've got everything, your texts, your emails, even the video footage. You try to fight me on this, and I'll make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. Jennifer stared at me, her mouth opening and closing as if she was trying to find the right words. But there were no words that could fix this. I turned and walked out, leaving her standing there in stunned silence. Later that evening, Emily called me. Her confrontation with Ryan had gone exactly as expected. Lots of yelling, plenty of excuses, and a pathetic attempt at an apology. But she wasn't interested in reconciliation any more than I was. I told him we're done, she said, her voice steady but cold. And then I forwarded everything to his boss. Let's see how he explains that. I couldn't help but smile. Good for you. Oh, and one more thing, she added, her tone lightening. I might have posted a few things online. Nothing too crazy, just enough to make sure people know the truth. I chuckled. Remind me not to get on your bad side. By the time we hung up, I felt a sense of closure. Jennifer and Ryan's betrayal had ripped my life apart, but now they were the ones picking up the pieces. It's been a few weeks since everything went down, and life is finally starting to feel normal again. The divorce is moving forward, Jennifer has moved out, and I'm focusing on myself for the first time in years. It's not easy, but it's worth it. As for Ryan and Jennifer, well, let's just say they're dealing with the fallout. Ryan lost his job, thanks to Emily's email, and Jennifer's reputation in our social circle is in tatters. They got what they deserved. Looking back, I'm not proud of everything I did, but I don't regret it either. They thought they could get away with it, but they underestimated me. Betrayal might knock you down, but it doesn't have to keep you there. Sometimes, the best revenge is just moving on and making sure they can't.